Today I'm going to be sketching a street view for Easy Sketching Club weekly challenge, and this week's prompt was street. So I picked up this photo which I found online. It's a photo of a street in Portugal, so I'm going to quickly sketch that. I will not be super precise in detail. It's going to be quite sketchy and not 100% accurate. I'm just going to use it for an inspiration and see how it goes. Okay, so I'll start with my pen as usual, and I'm just going to mark the main things on this street view. Perspective is important here, so it's a one point perspective where all the horizontal lines will come together in the vanishing point on the horizon, which is on our sight level somewhere here. And so all the lines above the horizon and below horizon line will all go to that point. So I'm just lightly marking the overall shapes there. As I said, I'm not going to be super precise. Some buildings maybe be shorter than they are. The only thing I'll try to preserve is proportions. So if we see here a two-story building, for example, I'm not going to put 5 rows of the windows there, obviously. So I'll try to be quite accurate in terms of the overall size of the windows in comparison to the whole of the building. But I just need to always remember about perspective, that all the horizontal lines will be going into the same vanishing point on the horizon line. So this street, it's got the foundation, the bottom line of the houses, it's kind of got on the arch a little bit, so I'll try to preserve that as well. There are some details here on the roof of this building. I'll be quite liberal with them as well. I'll just I'm going to indicate that there is something there, but I'm not gonna spend too much time on showing exactly what. So here we go, the front house. Here I will omit some of the piping and guttering and things like that, but I will try and put a little more in terms of the buildings themselves. So there is a street light somewhere on that building. I'm just gonna sketch it on, and there is a window behind it. And there is also some sort of base course on this house and a street plant, which I'm definitely going to put in because it's gonna make all these whitewashed houses that much more interesting and colorful. So I'm just quickly marking that on, and we'll put some watercolor layer on it later. Okay, so there is a door here, door opening. There is a motorcycle there. I think I'm just gonna leave it out for the sake of the time. I'm gonna put some windows in these ones. And just remembering about perspective, and this light on the wall, we are looking at it from the bottom sort of view of it, so we will see the foundation of it, the lower bit as well. And then I'm running out of space here, so I will shorten this bracket slightly, but I want to add a little bit of ornament there, metal work, which is quite handy to do in a pen, and then you don't need to worry about it when you come to do it in the watercolor. So there is a window behind it, and then there is another one. When we look at the windows from this sort of bottom right hand, we will see a little bit of the ingots on the right and a little bit of the top side as well, but because it's a sketch, we will do it quite lightly. I was making a mistake here of putting this lantern in the middle of the window opening, so avoid that. I'll try to move it a little bit. And then there are some other windows at the bottom. Some door openings as well. And then there is another plant in a square planter, so I'm definitely gonna put that one in. And then it's got like spiky sort of leaves. It's quite nice to have some sort of greenery or plant or flower at the foreground, because it's gonna hold all of our composition in place. Okay, so I think I'm kind of done with this side. There is a building there at the far end, and then I'm not gonna be putting a lot in this on this side, but there is some sort of greenery here, some planting. I'm going to add this in, and then there is a window at the top. This side is kind of shorter than then the right hand side, so everything is going to be a little bit more squashed. And there is a middle pink house, another street plant. I'm definitely going to be picking up on all the plants in there because they will definitely help. And then some other window openings that are not going to be that visible. And there is some top floor windows there. Some more plants. And then there is this paving slabs on the ground, so I am just going to lightly mark them on in a quite abstract way. And I am just about done with my pen drawing. Okay, so now I am just going to mix a nice blue color for my I almost said ceiling, for my sky. Nice bright typical Portuguese sky. And I'm just going to apply it from going from top to bottom and diluting it slightly as I go, so that it's a little bit lighter, more towards the horizon it comes. And I'm trying to be quite careful here around my buildings because they are white, so I'm not going to be putting too much color on them, and it means I need to be quite precise around the walls, around the boundaries of the walls. Because if the buildings are darker, then I can always go over my sky with the color of the buildings, but it's not going to be the case in this case. So, okay, whilst I'm here with my big brush, I am going to do the color of the pavement slabs as well. I'm just going to add a little bit of brown to my blue and maybe a little bit of cool red as well, and see, I think I need a little bit more yellow there, something like that probably will work. Yeah, that should work. So I'm just going to put it on the whole of the pavement area. And wait for it to dry, and it should dry much lighter, so then we can apply more shadows. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, we have this side of the buildings that are in the shadow and they cast the shadow on the ground, and then this side of the street is more exposed to the light. So there's not going to be much going on this side, apart from the fact that the middle house is, I'm just going to change my brush to the small one. The middle house is kind of peachy color, so I'm going to mix my cool red with some yellows, and I'm going to apply this color overall on my middle house. And then there is a little bit of yellows there as well at the top there, and then we have some yellows on this side. So I always try to use the same color. If I see the same color used in more than one place, I always try to apply it everywhere I need it. And after that, there is a little bit of blue on the back house on this side, so I'm going to do that a little around the windows, quite typical Portuguese. And then I can see some of the shutters there being blue as well. And now I need some sort of shadowy color where I'll add a little bit of gray to my blues, and it's going to be quite contrasting because where is the high exposure to the sun, the difference between light and shadow is quite dramatic. So I'm going to be applying my shadows all of this side is going to be in the shadow, so I'm just going to apply a bit of this color overall. I'm not too worried that my windows are running a little bit, it's fine. And this side will stay as is because it's kind of exposed to the sun as well. Going to put some shadow here, some extra shadows here. And then there is a big shadow on the ground from all these houses. I'll probably switch back to my big brush again. And then because it goes a little bit up this wall as well, and because it's quite a textured ground, I'm just going to, in the front, apply this shadowy color a little bit in uneven, so that it represents a little bit the texture of the paving materials. I'll maybe reinforce a little bit the shadow here, just to make it a little bit more contrasting. And maybe tone down the back one here as well. And there is a shadow on the rear building there too. And that's kind of it. So now I'm waiting a little bit for it to dry, and I'm just going to do some of the plants there. If you get a little bit too much water, just squeeze your brush and take excess of water out. Okay, so I'll start with this pink bush there. Go. Leaving it to dry, and now I need to mix some sort of green color for my other plants, and then I can get back to this bush. So I'm starting with the quite yellow mix of green, because these guys here on this side, they're in the light, and then once they dry a bit, I'll add a little bit more of the dark color, which I will mix now by adding a little bit more blue to my green, and I'm just gonna add it to this plant here, and this one here. Trying to add a little bit more blue, just so it's not all the same everywhere, this plant. And then I'll add the same color here to the underside of the plant where the sun can't get. And and I just want to do a little bit more here on this lantern. And I think I need a little bit more shadows on my ground. A little bit more texture and a little bit more contrast here. And just a touch of the shadows here on the lantern. And I think I might be done.